In today's video, we're talking about the best phone service for lawyers and law firms. This is a question I get asked all the time, and I have a clear answer for you today.
Welcome to my legal academy, helping lawyers work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life.
All right, so every law firm needs a phone line. Usually it starts off with your own line, but ideally you essentially want to have your own phone lines and phone numbers for your intakers. Ideally, your dedicated intakers who are just in charge of picking up the phone or calling up leads, and get asked all the time, what is the best phone service, Sam? Let me give some options, and then let me share my story of how I got to deciding that this particular tool that I'll be talking about today is the right one. A very popular one is RingCentral. Heard about it many years ago, signed up for it. Also have tried out a bunch of other ones, including Dialpad. I've also started off with Google Voice. But all of those ones had their own issues, especially with RingCentral. I remember RingCentral being very cumbersome and just very confusing. Every time I wanted to make any changes, I had to figure things. Not even adding a user was confusing. Looking for a solution. Then I heard about this particular one called OpenPhone. First, just from the website, I could just tell, I'm like, wait, these guys get it. Because it's not just about getting a line, but it's about when you do get the call, you need to have information about the lead. Then also you may need to tag them as so. Then you also may need to delegate it to other people that are part of your team. So I started seeing these things. I'm like, perfect. And the design and the UI it's so clean. And I tried it out, set it up, gave it to one of my law firms, and then my law firm came back like, Sam, this is so much better than we were on. Then I enabled it for a second law firm, a third law firm. And then I started talking about it and sharing with my legal academy members, and people that listened and went and set it up, came back and said, OpenPhone was an amazing recommendation. Thank you so much. And they've been able to kind of scale up from there, add up more lines, keep track of things, and kind of like it became a fan favorite inside of our community. And then at the same time, randomly, John found me and said, hey, do you want to talk about OpenPhone? I'm like, yes, actually, because I've been talking about raving about OpenPhone. So I actually have John here. John, you want to introduce yourself and give us a little preview of OpenPhone?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sam, and thanks for having me on. So my name is John. I'm on the team here at OpenPhone, and I actually found OpenPhone first as a customer myself. In my previous role, I was really unhappy with the phone system that we were using, and I had the same experience that you had, hopping onto our website for the first time and was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been working for. So much cleaner, so much easier to use. So I'm excited to give you and your audience a quick tour of the interface today and talk about how OpenPhone can help folks in your audience increase their business.
Yeah, and then as you be presenting, if you don't mind, I'm going to be calling things out specifically that I know that are very relevant for lawyers to be mindful of.
Sounds good. So here is the OpenPhone interface. The first thing you'll notice is that unlike what you are maybe used to with your smartphone, we compile all of the texts, call logs, and voicemails into a single unified stream. So that's what you're looking at in the middle of the interface here. You can see that there was a call that went through earlier this month, as well as a follow-up text. And then down here, you can see that we transcribed the voicemail that came through. This is really great if you're sharing a phone number, which I'll talk about more in a minute. But it gives you the full context of your entire relationship history with that person. And so rather than hopping around to different parts of the interface, you're able to see exactly what was said and when was said, regardless of the specific communication channel here.
And so about this, for me, I found some people were using phone services just for making calls and then another service for making texts. And that's a huge issue because these days it's very hard for your prospects. They're very not likely to pick up on your phone. So one of the ways to increase your chance of people picking up their phone is to first send a text with your name first before you call, because when you do that, then iPhone basically says that person's name may be this versus an unknown number or spam call. So it really increases your chance by sending a text from the same phone line where you make a call from. So yeah, it does that.
Absolutely. And we also support caller ID. So if you are in a position where you need to just call first, in most cases, we're able to show the recipient the actual name of the caller as well there. I mentioned that we allow folks to share a phone number, and I also want to just talk briefly about what that entails, because it's something that's a little different than what folks are maybe used to with the business phone system, where every single user just has their own extension or their own number. With shared phone numbers, anyone who has been added to your workspace has the ability to see these conversation histories. And if you want to, others can have their own phone number as well. But we find that a lot of teams really enjoy being able to share responsibility for answering the phone or responding to text messages, because if someone is out for a day or has to leave the company, you're able to just pick up and resume with the full context of those conversations through those shared phone numbers. If you do get additional phone numbers, those show up under this inboxes section in the sidebar here. And if you need a separate line for just like your website for intake versus like a more VIP line for like the courts or some other like important entity out there, you can really easily add additional phone numbers to the workspace and create kind of these separate inboxes for different types of communication. When someone calls that number, you're able to see exactly which number they're calling when the call comes in, as well as who is calling. So you have a sense of whether this is a personal or a business call even before you pick up the phone.
And what's cool about it is you create like the inboxes could be the different departments. So for us, we have some that could be for leads and prospects, and another one could be for your clients. That way your client success manager and your intakers have their own inboxes. And as John shared, it could be delegated to different people on your team.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see over here, we also support contacts. We've got a built-in lightweight CRM, and you can even add your own custom properties here. So if you need to leave internal notes with your team on a particular contact or tag folks based on your particular relationship with them, we make that really easy. And of course, that's shared with your team as well. And if someone ever leaves your company, again, any contacts that they have in their account can be shared out to the rest of your team.
Totally. And if there's particular leads that come in from specific sources, then you could tag them as from this source. And then when it comes to your end of the month analysis, then you could say, okay, where these clients come from, you could go look and find those kind of information.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, really handy. Let's dive in now to some of the configuration options, since I'm sure that's on everyone's mind. We support all of the sort of standard call flow options you would expect from a modern business phone. So you can set your business hours here, depending on what hours you want to be reachable from clients or others. And we can even set different voicemails based on whether it's during or after business hours to help provide people some context for when they might expect to hear back from you. If you've got multiple people managing the phone line, you can also set up a phone menu. Other providers sometimes refer to this as IVR or an automated attendant. Really, it's just a way to allow callers to press a key and get routed to the correct person to make sure that you're able to answer their call as efficiently as possible.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're a lawyer and you're looking to work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life, right below this video, you'll find a link to book a call to speak to my team so we can tell you how we've been able to help over 500 law firm owners scale their law firm. Now back to the video.
And what I love about this is the user interface is worlds apart from your competitors, and just it simplifies even the wording of what those things are. A lot of people don't understand what those things are and don't know how to set it up, but this is all under one setting, one thing. You just scroll down, literally from most important. You just set it up once. It's a one-time kind of setup process, and it makes it super simple.
Yeah, totally. We're all about that simplicity and trying to keep things as easy as possible. At the bottom here, you'll see that we also support round robin. So if you want to just like ring a few people at a time on a shared phone number and then move to another few people, we also support that. And that just helps share that responsibility for answering the phone and making sure that you're being attentive to anyone who's calling during business hours.
Totally. And if you don't mind, John, if you scroll all the way up, you had auto call recording and international calling and messaging. So auto call recording is a must for your intakers. You need to make sure that you're kind of reviewing your calls, make sure that they're taking the calls properly. And then also, if you have any clients outside of the US, this is not that many services have it, but it looks like you guys have international calling and messaging.
Yeah, we do. At the bottom here, you'll see that we've got voicemail settings. We transcribe voicemails automatically if you want to, which is really, really handy. So you can get a feel for it without having to listen to the whole voicemail that came through. And then another thing that's really cool is you can actually automatically reply with a text message to people who text or call you so that you can, again, provide some additional context to them around when they might expect to receive a response. Or if you've got any kind of online intake form, you can include a link to that form here as well. Even better, this is also able to be distinguished between during and after business hours to sort of fully attend to anyone who's trying to reach you. And through these auto replies, as well as the integrations that I'll talk about in a minute, OpenPhone becomes almost like a teammate in and of itself, helping you triage leads.
Totally. And yesterday I was actually at a party and somebody with a big personal injury law firm kind of learned about these auto replies from me. It's like, Sam, I just set this up and it's already made a big difference.
Yeah.
Responsiveness.
Yeah. And so setting that up just looks like clicking on that, entering a message, and then hitting save. So next time somebody sends me a text message during business hours, they'll automatically receive this text message back. You want to talk about integrations?
Yeah, that's huge. I'm all about that because
yeah.
Yeah.
We love integrations. So here's the current list of integrations we support. If you're using HubSpot or Salesforce as a CRM, you can use our native integration with those. If you're using a different tool to track your clients, we also support Zapier, which if you're not familiar with, I highly encourage you to check out. I know that Sam has a couple videos on Zapier, which are a really great intro to using Zapier to move information between different applications. So if you wanted to log incoming calls or text messages back to a CRM that's not supported natively by us, the Zapier integration is a great way to do so.
And it's crucial. Basically, no matter where you're getting leads from, you need to make sure your leads are contacted right away. That means sending literally a text as within the first second the lead comes in. That makes a huge dramatic increases your chance of actually signing up your clients. And then also make calls as well and adding them in the inbox. So that way your intakers right away can see the lead coming in. And also the pricing, that's something else too, from such an amazing service, you would assume that this would be, I know RingCentral is like, by default, from what I understand, is like $65 and then there's like $25 fees. And by the time you get to it, it's like $90 to $100 per phone line. And it really adds up, especially if you have a bunch of intakers.
Yeah.
Can you share us some info about the pricing and also the promo that we have for My Legal Academy?
Pricing is per user, so however many users you want to add to your workspace, regardless of whether or not they need their own individual number. Our standard plan starts at $13 a month, and our premium plan starts at $20 a month. And both of those are when you're paying annually. If you're paying monthly, both of those hop up a little bit there. Premium plan gets you some of the more advanced integrations and also lets you do call transfer and take advantage of our upcoming group calling feature, which is launching soon. Folks who are followers of Sam can get 10% off their first 3 months using the link in the description here. And for everyone, we offer a 7-day free trial to get started. So if you're on the fence, feel free to head to Sam's link and click that try for free button. And you can play around with the app for 7 days, risk-free. We'll send you an email before we charge you anything in case you forget. And that just gives you a chance to see whether OpenPhone works for you.
Totally. The link will be in the description below, again, for 10% off. But honestly, I'll be straight up with you, even if this is $100, if it gets the job done and it helps us sign up clients, then it's worth it all day long. Highly recommend usually for people to kind of sign up for it, try it out. If you use it, it's well worth it. If you don't use it, then it's not. So, but I could literally go inside My Legal Academy, just search for OpenPhone, people just sharing the positive notes about it. That's been very positive. So highly recommend it. Thank you so much, John, for sharing that with us. Again, all the details and everything will be in the description right below.